Sarah had spent weeks mustering up the courage to ask Jason, her longtime crush, to the prom. He was the star athlete, charming and kind, and she had always admired him from afar. Today, she had finally decided to make her move. The moment came during lunch. Sarah spotted Jason at his usual table, surrounded by his friends, laughing amongst themselves. She took a deep breath, gripping her notebook tightly, and approached. "Hey, Jason," Sarah said, her heart pounding. Jason glanced up from his conversation, barely acknowledging her.
"Yeah."
Sarah hesitated, her voice catching in her throat. I was wondering if you'd like to go to prom with me." There was an awkward silence at the table, and Jason's friends exchanged amused looks. Jason let out a scoff and looked her up and down, almost like he was assessing her.
"Wait, are you serious?
He asked with a smirk.
You think I'd go to prom with you?"
Sarah felt her heart sink. She could hear a few snickers from the others at the table, but Jason wasn't done.
"Look, Sarah, you're not exactly my type, all right? I'm already going with someone. Next time, maybe don't embarrass yourself."
His words hit her like a punch. The laughter from his friends only made it worse. Humiliated, Sarah forced a smile, choking back the tears that were threatening to spill. "Oh, okay. No problem," she whispered before turning on her heel and running out of the cafeteria. As soon as she was out of sight, the tears fell. She couldn't believe how cruel Jason had been. She had been nervous, sure, but she never expected him to treat her so badly. The sting of rejection mixed with humiliation, and she felt like her world was collapsing. The rest of the school day passed in a blur, with Sarah barely able to focus. She kept replaying Jason's words in her head, wondering why she had even tried. By the time the final bell rang, she felt utterly defeated. As she walked home, Sarah was so consumed with her thoughts and tears that she didn't notice the car speeding toward her as she crossed the street. Lost in her misery, she stepped right into its path, the screech of tires suddenly snapping her out of her thoughts. Before she could even react, a gust of wind swept past her, and she was lifted off the ground. The next thing she knew, she was standing safely on the sidewalk, and standing right next to her was none other than Superman. Sarah blinked, her tears still fresh, and looked up in shock. "Superman?" she gasped. He smiled down at her, his iconic cape fluttering in the breeze.
"You all right? You were about to get hit by that car. What happened?"
Sarah was too stunned to answer right away, but when she finally found her voice, the tears came rushing back. "I asked my crush to prom, and he was so rude about it. He laughed at me in front of everyone. I feel so stupid." Superman's expression softened.
"That sounds rough.
He said gently.
But you're not stupid, Sarah. It takes a lot of guts to put yourself out there like that. If he can't see that, then he's the one who's missing out."
Sarah sniffed, wiping her eyes. "It just hurts so much. Now I don't even want to go to prom." Superman was quiet for a moment, then he smiled.
"What if I took you to prom?"
Sarah blinked, stunned. "Wait, what?"
"You deserve to have a night to remember. And I think showing up with a superhero might make it a little more special, don't you?"
Her heart leaped. "You'd really do that?"
"Of course.
He said, offering his hand.
What do you say?"
The news of Sarah going to prom with Superman spread like wildfire. By the time prom night arrived, everyone at school was buzzing with excitement. As Sarah walked into the gymnasium in her shimmering gown, arm in arm with Superman, the room fell silent in awe. Jason, who was leaning against the wall with his date, did a double take. His eyes widened, and for the first time he looked genuinely shocked. The girl he had so casually dismissed was now the center of attention, escorted by the Man of Steel himself. Superman led Sarah to the center of the dance floor, where they began to dance. Everyone watched, some cheering, others clapping. Jason's date nudged him, but he barely reacted, too focused on the sight of Sarah smiling and laughing with Superman. He clenched his jaw, the jealousy written all over his face. Later in the night, Jason awkwardly approached Sarah as she stood by the refreshments table, still glowing from all the attention.
Hey Sarah,
Jason began acting nervous.
you look different tonight. I didn't expect.
Sarah cut him off, a confident smile on her face. Thanks, Jason, but I'm having a great time with my date. You know, someone who actually respects me. Jason blinked, his mouth opening to say something, but Sarah had already turned away. Superman was waiting for her by the dance floor, and as they met each other's eyes, she realized that she didn't need Jason's approval anymore. She had something better, self-confidence. The night was magical, and as it came to an end, Superman escorted her outside under the stars. Thank you, Sarah said, her voice soft but full of gratitude. You really saved me tonight in more ways than one. Superman smiled.
You didn't need saving, Sarah. You just needed to see how amazing you are.
With one last smile, Superman gently took flight, soaring into the night sky. But as Sarah walked home, he didn't leave her entirely. Hidden among the stars, he hovered in the distance, watching over her. He made sure she reached her house safely, a warm feeling of satisfaction settling over him as she disappeared inside. Once he was certain she was safe, Superman flew off into the night, leaving behind a girl who had not only gained a magical prom night and felt like the luckiest girl in the world, but also a sense of confidence she would carry with her forever.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more lovely content.